Hey there. So for a long time now, I've wanted to make a program especially for the deepest part of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. And this emerges out of a kind of rewilding of the planetary rhythms that I've been exploring in my own life and with my clients and mentees over the last 10 years or so. I discovered I had pretty intense seasonal affective disorder as someone coming from a warmer country, living here especially through the darker months, and I needed to change something about what I was doing because it wasn't working for me. And so what I started to practice was hibernating and just packing a whole bunch of space around, well, the seasonal kind of craziness like that is in Western culture, Christmas and New Year. And I found if I could put some more space around that, it was less frenetic and less exhausting for my system. And there was also something about, I thought it was a problem because of how much I needed to rest. I thought there was something kind of wrong with me, that I wasn't able to be as productive and as generative as I usually am during the other parts of the year. And then I kind of realized that we're not meant to be productive in winter. Winter, biologically speaking, we're really not meant to be. And yet we're expecting all of this stuff of ourselves. I know a lot of people who work right up to Christmas and then cram in Christmas, and then it's sort of all packed with social agreements that time of year, right at the point where, biologically speaking, we're invited inward towards an inner life and rest and regeneration. That's what our bodies long for in that time of year when it's dark and there's not much light in the sky. So what I've been starting to do in my life is try and create 2 or 3 weeks of space between the winter solstice, which I think of as my new year, and Imbolg, when I'm kind of ready to face the world again. And I don't always manage it. I usually have to go back to work at around like the 6th or the 7th of January, but I can usually take 2 weeks, sometimes 3 if I'm lucky, pack space around that time. And it's made a massive difference to my life. For me, it's mostly about coming off glowing screens and having a regular practice that means I have to go outdoors at least once a day. I do some quiet time. That might be creative, or it might be meditation, or it might be some movement. And I do some writing, which I'm kind of putting in a separate category this year because I'm trying to write a novel. So all this to say, I have had quite a lot of inquiries over the years from clients about how they might build that into their life. And so I've had a longing for a while to make a course around it. And then there's just that juggling act of how do I make a course that feels like hibernation for people who are wanting to taste hibernation during a really busy time of their year when they don't have much space. And I also want space. And so I kind of devised this shape that I feel really pleased with. And the way it works is it's like 8 chapters, and it's a combination of gatherings. There's a welcome gathering at the start where we're meeting each other and setting our intentions. And then there's another live meetup where we're doing a winter solstice, a ritual together, and deepening into the stillness invited in at that point in the year. And then you get 2 weeks of little taster downloads that come into your inbox, and they're going to be downloadable audio files that you can do in your own time. And you can engage with them just up to, like, you can do as little as half an hour a week, or there will be up to an hour of content if you want to take that in. And you can do that at any point. It's off a glowing screen in your ear. You can take it for a walk, or you can do it in bed. You can just shut a door from the craziness during Christmas, if that's your thing that happens in your house, and take yourself somewhere quiet and do it in quiet. So you have 2 weeks of downloads, and then we have our next live, which is all about roots in the underworld. That's another guided exploration. And then we go for 2 more weeks of downloads, and you'll be exploring soil and composting and mycelial healing. You'll be invited to bring something to be healed by the mycelia. And then our final get together is just before Imbolc, like the day before Imbolc on the 30th of January. And that's another live. And the theme of that is the first stirring of the seed, and the idea that that's the time when the seed starts to vibrate under the soil and aliveness begins to cook again. And the thing is, if we haven't given ourselves the space to rest, digest, allow an inner life, be with quietness, compost, then the energy is not in the seed come the 30th of January. And we hit the 30th of January feeling depleted and kind of exhausted and resentful of the darkness. So how might it be to let yourself feel held through the darkest time in the winter? And this course is my kind of response to that, my invitation in response to that. So yeah, it's 8 chapters, 4 live group workshops that all happen on a Thursday afternoon UK time during the end of the daylight. So from 3 till 4:30, it takes us from the daylight into the dark. And then these downloads that just will magically appear in your inbox when you wake up on Thursday morning for you to do in your own time. Oh, there's also a private sharing group on Mighty Networks off Facebook if you want that. And it's also designed for if you do want to fully introvert and do it all offline, you're very welcome to do that as well, and just do it through recordings. It's designed to limit blowing screen time because it's the winter, and also limit lots of social interactions and kind of meetings in your diary. You'll also be receiving in your inbox creative prompts that are just suggestions, not instructions, and also little ritual reflections, little planetary reflections about like what's the moon doing, you know, this kind of thing, invitations to go outside and explore. So if that sounds interesting, maybe see some of you there. Be lovely to have you join us.